La 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 la. First you take the pink, and then some blue, and then the green, and then more pink, and then a dash of blue. Coloring, coloring, coloring. There's another color. Do do do. Look, I drew us. Bus driver, are we there yet?
Hello! Hi, Eel! Welcome pre-work, Eel, to my funny coloring stream. Probably only get to stream for a couple hours today, but I think that'll be enough time to do what I wanted to do, which is color this one Xiaolin Showdown drawing that we made like a couple months ago. We've been meaning to color this for a long time. Hello, Noel! Look at what's this? I got a little pet bed for Justin. I thought it looked kind of funny with Justin kind of just floating next to us, so I thought it'd be cute if I got him a little bed. And all our pets can use it. We don't have any more pets than Justin, but when we do, they can all use the pet bed. It's so cute. He's got paw prints on it. Yeah, sorry I'm a couple hours late. We had trouble getting up because we stayed up kind of late. Oh no, the Justin TTS isn't working. What's going on? Let me test, Oh, wow.
Pog Online Poggers. Pog
Okay.
Online Poggers.
There was a little delay. I hit it twice. That's so cute, though. I want him to say that. Why is it not working? Let me try it one more time. Why? I don't get why VTS Pog decides to die sometimes. I can enter it in straight to the program.
Oh wow, this is really comfy.
Oh wow almost sounded sarcastic, and then but this is really comfy sounded genuine, I think. I'm gonna go listen to what I was listening to so it's not quiet while I figure out. Why does VTS Pog like to not work? Oh yeah, we recorded a little idle loop for him. I love Justin. I have no idea why the TTS redeem doesn't work sometimes. It always seems like it works directly in the program, but sometimes the redeem doesn't work. I don't know why that would be. Maybe I can ask April because she used to use BTS Pop. What if I disabled and then re-enabled it? Would that work? Sometimes it's as simple as that. Or not. Why, Justin? Why? Why? What if I disconnect and reconnect Twitch from VTS Pog? I guess whenever it doesn't work, we can always just paste your messages directly. But...
Huel, am I on?
It worked! Okay. Maybe we just gotta do a test, with the redeems before we start up. And then if it doesn't work, we can disconnect and reconnect Twitch and then it works. But that's kind of annoying. But at least it works now. Just like... Get my tablet set up. Oh no, I just remembered. I think I might have to plug it in. Sorry, 1 second.
Sometimes my inside voice becomes my outside voice and my outside voice becomes my inside voice. And then I say poggers instead of W.
Oh, it got cut off for some reason. Instead of W. Hang on. Is there like a character limit? It says there's 140. What if I made it like 1,000? Let me see if this works.
Sometimes my inside voice becomes my outside voice and my outside voice becomes my inside voice. And then I say poggers instead of what I wanted to say.
We've all been there, Justin. We've all been there. Oh, pet the pet. Oops, sorry. There's still a limit of, I think, 60 seconds. So it's not like you can actually go to the 1,000 character limit, but I thought I'd just make it easier to make it a huge number. Let me take down my tablet for a second so you can see. Good Justin. Good Justin. I love you, Justin. You're such a good guy. You're so cute. Oh, my arm got stuck. Ah, my arm. Why is my arm stuck? Hello? Why my arm stuck? Justin, what did you do to me? Justin! I should be able to fix it if I go in the VT. This has never happened before. Reset position. No! I'm still stuck! How did this happen? I've never seen this happen. Let me try reselecting myself. No! What? Maybe I gotta restart VTube Studio. No, wait, what's it called? VC Face. I hope I'm not still broken. Okay, good. It's fixed.
Ha ha. That's what you get for petting me. I'm the almighty Justin.
I thought you liked getting pet, Justin. No. Oh my goodness. You're such a rascal. 1 second, let me plug my tablet in. Hi, Fookie. Justin TV was named after Justin. I'm thinking of listening to System Speak again, if everyone would like that. It's been a while since we've listened to it, I think, so I'd probably take a second to scroll through, find which one we were on. Here we go. I got a bunch of reffies up. Meow. Yeah. I feel like listening to System Speak. How do I find the list? Seems like they organized their website differently. I used to be able to see a whole list of everything. And then they changed it so you can only see it by topic. And now my browser froze. Wah! Slurp, slurp. Hi, Lily. That kind of makes me sad because I like listening to them in order. Hello, hello.
I'm ready.
That was so loud. That's so funny that the TTS knew how to say it like that.
I'm always ready. Don't doubt me.
I'm sorry I doubted you, SpongeBob. I think since I gotta listen to it by topic, I'll do the Littles topic.
What a loudmouth, some TTS voices just don't know how to behave.
I love the TTSs so much. I'm glad other people enjoy them. There's a one about a puppy. Hang on. They got a puppy cast. I bet it's John Mark talking about the puppy.
Welcome to the System Speak podcast.
Someone talking
if you
about
would
puppy.
like to support our efforts at sharing our story, fighting stigma about dissociative identity disorder, and educating the community and the world about trauma and dissociation, please go to our website at www.systemspeak.org, where there's a button for donations, and you
Are
can
you
offer a
saying I
one-time
am
donation to
misbehaving?
support
Don't talk back to your sponge god.
the podcast or become an ongoing subscriber. You can also support us on Patreon for early
He's so
access to
angry.
updates and what's unfolding for us. Simply search for Emma Sunshaw on Patreon. We appreciate the support, the positive feedback, and you sharing our podcast with others. We are also super excited to announce the release of our new online community, a safe place for listeners to connect about the podcast. It feels like any other social media platform where you can share, respond, join groups, and even attend events with us. Go to our webpage at www.systemspeak.org to join the
Sponge
community.
God
We're
Square
excited to
Pants.
see you there.
The only guy here is me. Justin. Just kidding.
Welcome to the System Speak podcast. If you would like to support our efforts at sharing our
Wait.
story, finding stigma about
Wait, why is it
dissociative
playing
identity
twice?
disorder,
Where's that
and
coming
educating
from?
the community and the world about trauma and dissociation.
Sorry, I found it. It was another one started playing somehow. I am so good at streaming. I never make mistakes when I stream, ever. Ever. I want to hold her. Hang on, I think I need to refresh.
Well, come here. We have to take turns.
No.
Come here. Come here, little one. I got you, little one. Come right here. I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. Do you wanna be on a podcast? Can you bark? Hello. Can you bark? Say hello.
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 Oh, I changed the softness to hard instead of soft. That's what's wrong. I'm so silly.
Boy, oh man, have we got a story to tell you today. Say
Hello. Hello.
Now, isn't that the cutest thing you ever saw in your whole entire
I can't
life?
see it.
Guess what? You are not even going to believe my story. I am not even making this up. Not my imagination. For reals, I got a dog. I'm not even kidding you. Say hello.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Say hello, people.
Hello,
I'm
people.
not making them up. They're out there. Say hello, people. Wave your
Hello,
paw.
people. Oh, wave my paw.
She's waving her paw. She's a girl puppy. Oh, you so cute, little sweet puppy girl. Her name is Maisie Daisy. Maisie Daisy. A sweet little puppy girl. Hello, we're gonna be friends. You want to be my friend? I was looking for a new friend. You want to be my new friend?
Yeah.
You gotta be nice to me as part of the deal. Give me 5. Yes, I'll shake on that. Oh, you are so cute. I cannot even stand it. Oh my goodness. Hello, precious one. Here's what happened. Can I tell you the story? Please just give me a minute for tell you the story. The story. Here, you can hold it while I talk. Just let me keep talking. Okay. So, I'm not even making this up. I'm not making this up.
Okay.
So, I don't even know what to tell you. You know, Pal's Care said the doctor cannot have a puppy. because her airway breathing, well, that was her make-a-wish, a puppy. But they say you cannot, because you cannot breathe a puppy. And so they said, no, no, no. So for make-a-wish, we went to New York City. New York City? New York City. Now, if you're in New York City, you just say the city. You just say New York, because you're very cool. And we have been there a lot, as a husband has shows there, and people's there, and actors there, and things. And so we used to go there a lot. And he lived there, and we will be back there, but not today. We are not in New York, okay? But for Make-A-Wish, that's how we got to take all of them outside kids. There's like a whole mess of kids. If
Why
you
doesn't
don't
have
know,
kids here?
there's a whole mess of kids,
Hang on.
and I don't even know how to count that many kids. There's a lot of them, and we cannot take that many people to New York because they want money for snacks, or they want money for t-shirts. Only tourists buy a t-shirt, and I try to tell them, but I said, don't, you're making us not cool. And in New York, you have to be very cool. And they have hot dogs, and they're really good, and they fold our pizza, and I like the pizza, and also some bagels. If you like bagels, I like bagels, and also if you want to know about it, there's lots to eat there. And also we went to the Ghostbuster house to show the kids.
Ghostbuster.
This place, that church, that building on the corner by the hot dog stand, that's in Ghostbusters movie. And also, my other favorite part is ride the ferry. I said, you can't just keep squealing, 'cause that's not cool. You just sit down and you look bored. But man, really, I really love the ferry a lot. And also, there is, here, you want this little toy?
Yeah.
Why don't you eat this? Chew on this. There.
Eat the toy. No.
It's a dinosaur. It's an orange dinosaur, and I was pretending I had a toy, but really it's for the dog. So I said, "Here, little puppy, get that dinosaur." Are you so happy? She wagged her tail. She's so happy. Are you so happy? Well, that daughter, and I say her name, I don't know. That daughter, she went to the doctor and the pulmonology for breathing, and they said you are clear for doing a little better, and they put on her paperwork if a hypoallergenic dog, and I said, I beg your pardon, what did you just say? Because I was paying attention. You always got to pay attention what's happening, even if you are not the boss of doctor appointments. You got to know what is happening. And I was paying attention, and I heard someone say dog, and I said,
Dog.
say that again, please? Could you tell me exactly what you just said?
Dog.
Can you tell me one more time? Because it's a very serious issue. What do you say? And they said, hypoallergenic dog. And I said, what? And there's a form, and I fill it out for palliative care. And do you know what they did? They found a rescue dog, hypoallergen, and that rescue dog had puppies, and because Mama was hypoallergen, the puppies are hypoallergen, and I am not even making this up. You see, look. Hello, cute, precious little one. You will be my friend? Will you be my buddy? Now I need a buddy. Will you be my little friend? Oh, sweet baby. Hello, little one. I'll wait for you my whole life. I can't even stop looking at her. She's so cute, little beautiful puppy. With her little apricot ears and her big old long tail. And she's so soft as a blanket. Oh, come here, just cuddle with my little puppy. Some kisses. Sweet puppy. I love her so much. They said Pal Care paid for her surgery, which she did not have yet, because I do not want a whole mess of kids and a whole mess of puppies. That is not okay with nobody. Nobody wants a whole mess of a whole mess. So she will have surgery. She's just sleeping, so she's not hurting. And I know it's fun. And Emma, she has surgery. She don't got puppies either. But she had that. I know how it works. As I already talked about that with a therapist. And so it's all right. But then oh, yes, you got it. You're a good puppy. You did well, puppy.
Well, puppy.
I want to hold her too. I want to hold her. I love her. Hi, puppy. Hi, sweet puppy. Hi. Hello. Hi, I want to see you. Hello, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy.
Hi. I'm not a puppy. I'm sorry, I lied.
What a good girl. She's a good puppy.
Do people still think it's a Crash Bash remake?
They also Pal Care also pay all of her shots one whole year and give us a whole bucket of food and a crate and a blanket and a playpen. This spoiled puppy has her own playpen. I'm not even kidding. It's a puppy pen, and I read the top of this. I don't want her to be afraid. I want to say, I know some of us do not like to be locked up, do we? No. We will just leave that off for now. We'll just leave it off, but you have to be good and sleep in it. I teach her how to sleep
Maybe
in
they
it.
didn't
And
see
also,
gameplay of it at all and just assuming
not
things. That's
believe
crazy.
this level of cuteness that she got a basket for a booster seat with a safety harness for the car. When she rides in the car, because I'm going to teach her how to go to the lake and walk. But first she had to meet the goose. And that's a very strong opinion goose. But that goose, I said, you mind your business here, and I'll mind my business here. And I teach my puppy, you just leave that goose alone, because that goose will be like,
Hissing goose.
You don't want a mean goose make a hissing at you. I said, you follow those directions. Come here. Oh, puppy, come here. You got this. Oh, yes, wag your little happy tail. Oh, isn't you the best thing ever happened? Oh, you are, oh, sweet puppy. Sweet puppy. Oh, you are not even mad at me. You don't even not like me anymore. You are still my friend today. 3 days in a row so far already. She loved me to death, this puppy. Oh, sweet puppy. And the last puppy we had before our daughter was born, her name was April. So this puppy, of course I named her May. I named her May because May comes next. But then with the kids, outside kids, they said, we'll put Z on it. So May Z for make her cool like a rapper. I said, what do you even know about rappers? You know nothing about rappers, you kids. And they were laughing. They thought it was so funny. But then we call her Maisie. But then everybody keep calling her Daisy. I said, her name is Maisie. Her name's not Daisy. So then we finally have a compromise. And now, oh, do you know your name? I say your name, Maisie Daisy. So we have a compromise and just call her Maisie Daisy. And now she's just licking on me because I said her name. Oh my goodness, little
I don't know
puppy.
what this is
Yes,
supposed to
I said Maisie
Here.
Daisy. Do you want your dinosaur? You
be.
have a friend. You will never be alone. I'll take good care of you. I will take good care of you, and you can be my friend, and I will be your friend, and you can be so happy again, and you can play again, and you'll feel safe. I will keep you safe, and I'll take care of you. Oh, this sweet puppy.
Hi, sweet puppy.
She's the softest thing inside of the Mississippi. I just like to pet you too. I just like to pet you. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy.
Hey.
Hi, puppy. 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 Oh man, oh you guys stay up here. That's a long way down. You won't fall. Come here, I'll keep you safe. Come here, I'll hold you. I'll hold you safe. What a good puppy. Oh man, this is gonna be the best summer we ever had.
Is that it? Or is there's usually an outro thing? Oh, okay. There's like a little delay.
Thank you for listening. Your support really helps us feel less alone while we sort through all of this and learn together. Maybe it will help you in some ways too. You can connect with us on Patreon and join us in our new online community by going to our website at www.systemspeak.org. If there's anything we've learned, it's that connection brings healing. We look forward to connecting with you.
Meow. I'll put in that.
Please go to our website.
Oh yeah, this is the one I accidentally started playing.
www.systemspeak.org, where there's a button for donations, and you can offer a one-time donation to support the podcast or become an ongoing subscriber. You can also support us on Patreon for early access to updates and what's unfolding for us. Simply search for Emma Sunshaw on Patreon. We appreciate the support, the positive feedback, and you sharing our podcast with others. We are also super excited to announce the release of our new online community, a safe place for listeners to connect about the podcast. It feels like any other social media platform where you can share, respond, join groups, and even attend events with us. Go to our webpage at www.systemspeak.org to join the community. We're excited to see you there.
Yeah, you couldn't find reference of Kimiko's legs and boots for this outfit, but this outfit's almost the same one, so I think I would follow this design. The shoes being yellow and the socks being like orange and yellow. So then the shoes would be pink and the socks would be green.
Okay, therapy today was a game changer. I almost got an entire timeline out and a chunk of change. Not really, I just heard that on the news this morning and thought I could use it in a sentence. There was no change involved. Well, change in me, right? So we talked about what happened with our previous therapist. Everything from the good years that were safe and helpful, and the struggling years where everything started to change. We feel like we messed things up with a painting, that was the beginning of the downfall. Saying goodbye on the top 10 episode. Trying all summer to get our notebooks, and then the women's conference in the fall, where we went to learn about friendship and thought it was being offered to us, and the retreat Halloween weekend, where we helped and participated and stayed to learn, and knowing that weekend changed everything and that we could not go back to therapy. Going that Monday to our last time at that therapist's office ever, knowing it was our last time, crying all the way through it, being told to step into and to turn towards, and all of those things about embracing these new friendships, going away to the Middle East, sending the letter that we would not be back in therapy because everything had changed, and because we were trying to be present with our family, not knowing how present we were about to get. Thank you, pandemic. But wanting to not make that long drive anymore, and needing to be present with the family between deployments instead of on the road in therapy. And the wildfires in California, the birthday party, the trip to ISSTD, which was then canceled, and the pandemic hit. Trying to see a new therapist, but not being able to go across state lines, and so having to find another therapist, even though our previous therapist did the official work of transferring us. That didn't work. Spending the 2 years of the pandemic trying to find another therapist, moving out to the country, not hearing back from our friends, getting to trying so hard in the ways we knew how to connect with them, which we now know is fawning and attached cry, leaving us in an emotional roller coaster of a disaster leading up to the suicide attempt.
Oh no.
And then finally coming to terms with the loss of that therapist and our friends. Which is so ironic because in the beginning, when it all started, we thought we had to give up our therapist to keep our friends. And in the end, we lost both the therapist and the friends. And it was so devastating. And that circle just being closed off, closed for repairs, do not enter, they're not coming back. The therapist now reassures us that they're still there, but I don't think things will ever be the same. Not like before. Like, that broke us. That broke us. So here we are, these years later, therapy for therapy. Again, I keep thinking, oh, it's so much better now. But here we go. So, being able to put all the pieces in a timeline and connect the pieces of what happened to who and who did what, and not about blame, not about shame, realizing just what I thought was being offered is not what was being offered, and what I thought was real was kind of an illusion that was not real for me, which is why we recorded the footprints episode, right? So learning to listen to other parts because they are telling truths that we need to hear even when they make us uncomfortable. And we ourselves may also have truths that they need to hear, and about none of it being about just good or bad or safe or not safe. And that is where we went in therapy today. That was a game changer. So in TIS, the thing that's really good about this is that now time is safe. When now time is actually safe. But one of the things that the pandemic taught us is that now time is not always safe. So if you are in an active, ongoing trauma, now time is not safe. And it's okay to call it for what it is, right? That's important information. You as a system need to be able to recognize what is not safe. And there are lots of us that kind of have these polarized parts where some are very Pollyanna, or some are very fawning, or some are very, let's think positive, let's focus on what's good, don't be afraid, da-da-da-da-da. And others have these trauma holding parts or protector parts or irritable parts that are really good at seeing what's wrong and not okay. You guys, the reason you have both kinds of parts are because you are having both kinds of experiences, and both are entirely valid. This is why we talked about toxic positivity. It's not that being positive is bad. It's that being positive, instead of acknowledging danger that needs to be acknowledged, or instead of acknowledging challenges that need to be looked at, or instead of being aware of safety issues that need to be communicated about or dealt with, that's an illusion that things are only positive. This is not the same thing as affirmations or trying to look on the bright side or holding on as the best you can until therapy gets better or easier.
Being positive
or
is
life
negative,
gets better
actually.
Or easier. I'm talking about toxic positivity is only when you are only looking at positive instead of the whole picture. Looking at the whole picture and finding the good about it is fine. That's very
SpongeBob,
healthy.
are
There's
you
nothing
okay?
wrong with that.
You've been
There's nothing wrong
seeming a
with
little
being positive
different
or choosing
today.
a positive outlook. But you can't do that at the expense of truth. That's what makes it toxic, right? Because then you're gaslighting yourself. In the same way,
Poor SpongeBob.
for very beginning skills, NTIS is super, super helpful in learning the difference between memory time and now time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it can be super, super useful to write it on your hand or to write it down or to have a sign or a bear or something that reminds you that now time can be safe. But as we get further into therapy, like what we talked about today in our session, was that now time is safe because we're the ones who make it safe. It's not just magical. It doesn't just happen on its own. And when we can work together with all of our parts or all of our alters or however you want to talk about it, when you can look at the whole picture with feedback and information from all of who you are, then you can, in a healthy and appropriate to the circumstances way, make choices to keep yourself safe, even if things are hard or difficult. And in that way, now time can be safe.
Looking forward to Darling
But
and the
here's the
Freaks
thing.
tomorrow.
When we talked about part of why our system collapsed in 2020 and why everything broke down, our therapist used these words last week that were really, really good about how it was like how a switch got flipped from now time is safe to all of a sudden now time is not safe. Now time was not safe because there was a virus nobody could see that you could die from. And now time was not safe because the husband left to go care for his parents, which was good for him and the right thing, but like the last thing we needed, right? Now time was not safe because we didn't have a therapist. Now time was not safe because our friends were not our friends. And now time was not safe because we didn't have enough food or enough money or enough resources or whatever. And so there were lots of reasons that now time was not safe. And that's why things got so scary and why things got so dark. Because it was true that now time was not safe, which made it really hard to tell myself that it was safe because it wasn't. And I don't need to be gaslighting myself or lying to myself or pushing away protector parts that are actually doing a good job trying to take care of things that are not safe because that's their job. So she said, instead of just flipping the switch back on of, oh, now the pandemic's over, or the husband can visit close because we moved closer, or we have enough food, or whatever you want to fill in the blank that makes now time safe again, it's not like you can just flip on a switch. Like, I'm like, if we can just flip the switch back to now time is safe, we have a therapist, we know where the husband is, the children are back in school. Like, if everything is safe and taken care of, then what happened to the circle one? Where are these people that are supposed to be here that are not here anymore? And she's like, no, I promise they're still there, even if you don't have access to them. But also, we don't need to push that, because if there's a reason we don't have access to them, we need to respect that reason. Okay, so I'm going to be respectful because that's not my job. But no, I'm kidding. So she says, instead of thinking of it like a light switch, what if we thought about it as a dimmer switch? And as we talk about things that are safe, or that you feel safe enough talking about, even though they're hard, what if we just use the dimmer switch and just turn the lights back on a little bit at a time? And you all can have control of the light switch. And I'm thinking, this is perfect, actually. Because do you remember back in the day when therapy was awesome, how we learned how to hang lights inside? And we had these Christmas lights set up, and we had this whole system that was really working for us at the time. And it was really brilliant. And it was very soft and tender and positive and good and all the good feelings, right? Like, that was amazing therapy. And it was such a breakthrough to have the lights back on. Except it was our therapist who basically plugged in the lights. And so when we lost her, it was like we lost the lights and everything went dark. So she's saying, I'm curious if it's not really that the others are gone so much as you just can't see them because the lights are still out. And I'm like, okay, smarty, what's going on here with this? But she says if we can just turn the lights on a little at a time, as people feel comfortable, as people feel safe, as we start to re-engage with therapy, let's talk about this dimmer switch and you all exploring what helps the lights come on and what helps the lights go back
I want to
down.
try to pick a skin
Because there
color
are
for Omi
times
that's
it is
like
safe
feels
to
canon but
just
isn't
turn the
literally
lights out.
yellow.
There are times that is
That's
the
why I got this
safe and
dark
right and
picture
healthy
for when
thing
his
to
skin
do.
is like looks
There
more
are times
normal.
that it is right and healthy
This is so
not to reach out
brown,
or to take a break or to say, no,
like
I
gray,
can't
I
put
should say.
myself through that anymore.
I'm not sure.
That's
that
amazing. And we need to acknowledge that and hold
seems
space
right. Maybe
for
like
that.
this?
So after therapy last week, we kind of did this art thing, which we shared on the community. I think we shared it on the community. That was kind of a light switch with now time is safe on the top with light behind it, and now time is not safe on the bottom with darkness behind it, right? Like theoretically, that was the idea. And we kind of left it out for the week to let people, like, what are things that are not safe? What are things that are safe? And kind of drawing on this piece of art, right? To kind of think about what happened that made the lights go out and how do we turn the lights back on. But she suggests that that is a binary concept. Now time is safe or now time is not safe. She says we don't need to make it so binary. What if just like we have a dimmer switch for how safe we feel or how engaged people want to be in therapy, what if we have like a dial switch for safety so that we can adjust instead of flipping between now time is safe or now time is not safe? What if we have now time is safe enough? Now time is safe enough. So that even can have some context. So like, for example, I have to drive to therapy because I want to go in person, but it's hard to find a DID therapist. So once again, I'm having to drive a little ways to get there, but it is safe enough because I want to be there and it's worth my time and worth the finances of the gas and the time to pay for therapy as best I can. And so maybe for some people that's like a 10. I want to get in my car and go to therapy. That's safe. I'll make it a 10. It's a 10 of safety. So I could dial it all the way up. Or maybe you're like me and you had a mom who was killed by a drunk driver. So having to drive a long way to get to therapy can actually be a bit triggering. So I know that the chances of that also happening to me are pretty low. Like in some ways, my mom did me a favor because since that happened to her, chances are less likely it will happen to me. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, she did me a favor. So maybe for me, if I were completely freaked out, it would be like a 3, and it's not safe enough for me to do the driving. But maybe I can manage that anxiety with resources I have, like peppermints, or taking some soup with me, or some good music, or listening to podcasts, or something, or having a blanket in my front seat, like all kinds of things that I could do to take care of myself enough to make driving to therapy safe enough that maybe I could turn my dial back up to 7, which is not a 10, but a 7 could still get me to therapy, right? But maybe it's a tornado kind of day where the weather is terrible. that's going to put it back down at a 2 or a 1. I don't need to be in the car. That is appropriate information for my body and my brain to have, that I don't need to be in the car in a tornado. Or maybe it's a snowstorm and there's ice and snow and it's not safe to be on the road. Then it is appropriate that my safety meter goes down to a 1 or a 2 and I don't get in the car. But if it's a beautiful spring day and going to be a gorgeous drive and I can manage my anxiety, then a 7 is okay. Is it ideal? Like, therapy's not next door, so it's not a 10, but I can manage that. A 7 is safe enough to get me to therapy. Does that make sense? Isn't this a game changer? But do we get to leave it at that? No. No, we do not, because therapy. And so she says, we could even be curious about this in other ways. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so she goes back into how safe and not safe is really a binary concept, and that we don't need binary concepts. We need to see the gray. So she says, what about your husband? How safe is he? And I'm like, well, he's a man, so he doesn't get a 10. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's true. Okay, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding about kidding. So we'll put him at a 9. Okay, because he is very kind. He is very accepting. You guys have heard him. You've gotten to know him. You've talked to him and on video or whatever. Like, he's very chill, very safe, but also a dude, but kind of not very much of a dude. So I don't mean that. Wow, that sounded worse than I thought. I didn't mean it like that. So, like, we're going to put him at a 9.
Non-binary husband.
And she says, well, that's great. That's why he's one of your safe people, right? And I was like, yes, safe people, NTIS. And she says, well, what about when he's depressed? Oh. Because when the husband is super depressed, or they're changing his meds, or he doesn't have his meds, thank you, shipping crisis, then it's actually a problem. He does not become unsafe. Like, just because he is depressed doesn't mean he starts beating me up or something, right? He's still the safe husband he's always been, but it's a lot more triggering because his depression is a trigger for me because my mother was super depressed.
Okay. I tried restarting the stream because it seemed like I was in buffering hell. So, yeah.
Some beautiful 9 or 10 Play-Doh moment of let's paint what we created out of clay, and it's perfect.
Is it still doing the buffering thing? I know I ended the stream because it seemed like it was in buffering hell, and I wanted to make sure it was okay. Is it like normal now? Like not buffering and smooth and stuff? I don't like it when it does that because it's hard to tell what's going on and why. But I think it's normal now. I don't see any buffering anymore.
Right? So there's no parenting that's perfect, by the way, because that's binary. Right? Do you see? So I can be a good enough parent, just like I need good enough caregiving myself, whether that's from my therapist or in my relationships or even with my friends.
Hello. Sorry it took so long to restart my computer. It didn't actually take that long to restart my computer, but then Streamlabs had to update when it came back. So maybe that's why I was in buffering hell, because Streamlabs had to update. I hope it's okay now. I gotta get Justin back. He left his bed. He said, I had enough of this. I'm out of here. Steam is making me type in my password. Oh, come on. Okay, I think it's going. It says waiting for network. I never see this screen with Steam. What? Okay. Justin's coming. Justin will be here any moment. It'll be so cool when he shows up. When the little guy who we love is coming to the screen. Okay. Let me test it.
Pog online poggers.
Okay. Back to the stream. Sorry about that. I think everything's normal. I'm gonna try to find my place in the podcast.
Welcome, because I want to go in person, but it's hard to find a DID therapist. So once again, I'm having to drive a little ways to get there.
That was about in the middle of it.
But it is safe enough because I want to be there, and it's worth my time and worth the finances of the gas and the time to pay for therapy as best I can. And so maybe for some people that's like a 10. I want to get in my car and go to therapy. That's safe. I'll make it a 10. It's a 10 of safety. So I could dial it all the way up. Or maybe you're like me and you had a mom who was killed by a drunk driver. So having to drive a long way to get to therapy can actually be a bit triggering. So I know that the chances of that also happening to me are pretty low. Like in some ways, my mom did me a favor, because since that happened to her, chances are less likely it will happen to me. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, she did me a favor. So maybe for me, if I were completely freaked out, it would be like a 3, and it's not safe enough for me to do the driving. But maybe I can manage that anxiety with resources I have, like peppermints, or taking some soup with me, or some good music, or listening to podcasts, or something, or having a blanket in my front seat, like all kinds of things that I could do to take care of myself enough to make driving to therapy safe enough that maybe I could turn my dial back up to 7, which is not a 10, but a 7 could still get me to therapy, right? But maybe it's a tornado kind of day where the weather is terrible. That's going to put it back down at a 2 or a 1. I don't need to be in the car. That is appropriate information for my body and my brain to have, that I don't need to be in the car in a tornado. Or maybe it's a snowstorm and there's ice and snow and it's not safe to be on the road. Then it is appropriate that my safety meter goes down to a 1 or a 2 and I don't get in the car. But if it's a beautiful spring day and going to be a gorgeous drive and I can manage my anxiety, then a 7 is okay. Is it ideal? Like, therapy's not next door, so it's not a 10, but I can manage that. A 7 is safe enough to get me to therapy. Does that make sense? Isn't this a game changer? But do we get to leave it at that? No. No, we do not, because therapy. And so she says, we could even be curious about this in other ways. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so she goes back into how safe and not safe is really a binary concept, and that we don't need binary concepts. We need to see the gray. So she says, what about your husband? How safe is he? And I'm like, well, he's a man, so he doesn't get a 10. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's true. Okay, I'm not kidding. I'm kidding about kidding. So we'll put him out at 9. Okay, because he is very kind. He is very accepting. You guys have heard him. You've gotten to know him. You've talked to him and on video or whatever. Like, he's very chill, very safe, but also a dude, but kind of not very much of a dude. So I don't mean that. Wow, that sounded worse than I thought. I didn't mean it like that. So, like, we're going to put him at a 9. And she says, well, that's great. That's why he's one of your safe people, right? And I was like, yes, safe people, NTIS. And she says,
Streamlabs
well,
had
what about when he's
update.
depressed? Oh. Because when the husband is super depressed, or they're changing his meds, or he doesn't have his meds, thank you, shipping crisis, then it's actually a problem. He does not become unsafe. Like, just because he is depressed doesn't mean he starts beating me up or something, right? He's still the safe husband he's always been, but it's a lot more triggering because his depression is a trigger for me because my mother was super depressed. And
how did this get on the same one?
I think that that happened with my previous therapist. When her depression was up, it was harder for me to get through to her, and that was triggering, even though she was a safe person and doing good work with us. Or when my kids are screaming at me, we talked about that example. Like, I love the outside kids, right? The answer is yes. Please say yes. Yes, we love the outside kids. But some of them really struggle with emotional regulation. So it's super triggering when I'm getting beat up by a child and screamed at, even though I am there to be the parent. But, so can I dial down the safety? Yes. The therapist said it is never okay for anyone to be screaming at me. And screaming is probably always going to be a trigger. So it's okay to dial down safety in those situations. But also, in those situations, I'm the parent. I'm the adult. And I know what kind of parent I want to be. And I'm in therapy to regulate myself so I can help them co-regulate until they can regulate themselves. So that turns the dial back up a little bit. So even if we're at a 5 or a 6, that's still safe enough to parent well, even though it feels unsafe. And I can acknowledge what feels unsafe and what feels uncomfortable by dialing it down to a 5 or 6 instead of it being some beautiful 9 or 10 Play-Doh moment of let's paint what we created out of clay and it's perfect. Right? So there's no parenting that's perfect, by the way, because that's binary. Right? Do you see? So I can be a good enough parent, just like I need good enough caregiving myself, whether that's from my therapist or in my relationships or even with my friends. I don't have to have friends who are good friends or bad friends, or be confused why good friends are acting like bad friends. Maybe they're good friends who are just also human. And maybe what makes them human dials down my safety meter. But also maybe they're still good friends. I have one of those. I have one of those who I am like, I don't know why you're still my friend. But she still checks in on me. She still shares things in a way that makes me think, oh, we're still connected. Even when it's really hard for me to be connected, I still see you there. And so because of that, I'm aware that we're still friends, even though these other things were hard. So I get to experience that in a non-binary kind of way.
Non-binary?
So then the therapist gave some funny examples about herself. The thing that makes this extra funny is that because of what I went through before with my previous therapist, with my therapist now, I'm like, I don't want to know anything about you. Nothing. Tell me nothing personal. I'm never going to ask for anything. I never want to know anything. Tell me nothing. I'm not even going to look at your shoes. She has some awesome shoes, by the way. My therapist now, she's really good at shoes. I'm like, those are some cool shoes. No, I do not say that to her. I notice it and then I'm like, oh no, you noticed something. Look away, look away, look away, look away, look away. Okay, so here's what she did.
Sasha's so
She used some examples of herself. She was like, we have made some progress. Like, it's been 8 months
Is it
now.
fucking buffering again?
And we're just now starting to
Or is that
trust
just
a
a
little
fluke?
bit. So I was like, okay, I'll give you a 1 on my safety meter. It doesn't faze her. She doesn't miss a beat. She's like, that's okay. I'm okay with a 1.
Wait, I thought I saw
It
it
is
buffering, but that
yours
was
to
my
decide.
pencil.
I don't decide how you feel about therapy. You decide how you feel about therapy. So I'm like, well, that was pretty good. So I'll make you a 3. And she's like, well, okay. And we've done some really intense work together. We did some eye movements. So even though these things, like with your previous therapist, still there's so much grief in you and so many layers to it, but you're functioning every day and you're not crying every day anymore. And I was like, oh, well, that's true. So I'll make you like an 8. I can make my therapist an 8. And she goes, without, again, without even or missing a beat. She's like, ooh, I'm an 8 now, so I could babysit your kids, right? And I was like, no. And she was like, why not? And I was like, well, first of all, you're my therapist, so that would be a different role. So I don't want you in a different role because I already have a role where I want you in my life, and it feels safe over here. So it doesn't feel safe to move you over here. And she was like, oh, is that how it works? And she was like, what about baking you a cake? And I was like, okay, first of all, I don't really like cake, but also, like, cake is just not my thing. My kids will eat cake, so my kids are excited because anytime I get a cake, they get to eat cake because I'm not going to eat it. But she was like, you don't know if I can cook or not because we haven't talked about it. And I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And she's laughing at me, but very seriously says, like, you have no idea if I can make a cake or not. Or if I make really good cakes, or if, like, my cakes have dog hair in them. And I was like, I don't want to know about your dog hair cakes. But she's like, that's the point. It's not a binary situation. Maybe we have worked really hard together to make our relationship very safe. And so you have a dial for that. And as we're talking about harder things, maybe that dial goes down and we go slower or more carefully or more gently. Maybe when we're talking about easier things or we wrap up a particular subject, the safety goes back up for a little while because you feel better as opposed to the struggle when you're wrestling with something. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But also, it's specific to this context. Like, you don't know anything about me outside of this office, and I only know about you what you share with me outside this office. And so anything outside these walls, our meters, like, might change, right? It's not the same. It doesn't just transfer locations. And I was like, oh, that's why the conference was hard or the retreat was hard when we went to hear our previous therapist speak. Because it doesn't just move outside those walls. And that's part of what was so unsettling and dysregulating. But I couldn't explain that to myself because all I knew was the binary of now time is safe. So then I feel like I'm failing when now time doesn't feel safe anymore. Even though I am safe, it doesn't feel safe because the context has changed or the role has changed. Even when no one has done anything wrong, or even when nothing hard is happening. And so we started talking more and more about the gray areas. And I know my therapist before tried to talk to me about this a little bit. And the one who died from COVID, my dream therapist, like this holding space for the gray
has come up before. So clearly I have a binary problem about things being good or bad, or being safe or not safe. And my homework is to start thinking about the grays between that. What is safe enough? What is good enough? And conversely, what is not safe enough that I should go ahead and pay attention to it, or respond to that, or do something about it? Or what is bad enough that I need to pay attention? So like, for example, I like to walk. My mood and my thoughts and my focus and intention are so much better if I go for a walk every day. And my favorite walk is to park by the skate park, walk around the dog park, walk around the lake, and then walk down this path through the woods that goes all the way to the Mexican restaurant. Now, wouldn't it be fun if I had friends and I took that walk, but we did it for lunch? And like, we walked to lunch and had fun with Mexican food or whatever, and then walked back to the car. And then I got a whole 3-mile walk, but also lunch. Now I'm telling you why this is in my head. Because we used to live by the river, and I had a little puppy, and we used to take walks on Saturday mornings to breakfast. And they served these amazing buckwheat pancakes. And I could have coffee back then. And so it's just this memory that I have of walking along the river, a nice long walk. Like, it was probably 3 or 4 or 5 miles to the breakfast place, and then another really super long walk back. And then the rest of Saturday, I could just rest. And then Sunday, I could just rest because I had done this extra long walk. And it's a good memory because at the time I was single and I was working at a hospital. And so I worked really hard during the week. I played pretty hard on Fridays. And then on Saturday, I knocked out this walk with my body, enjoyed a brunch with my friends in a social way. See, I've had friends before. Non-binary, right? I've had friends before.
Non-binary friends.
Then I walked back and then I could rest. But it's really, now I know because dissociation, but it's really hard for me to just sit still and also be present. And so it took that much energy to get out of my physical body before I could be still and just enjoy my weekend. So anyway, sometimes when I'm doing this walk, because it happens to go by the Mexican restaurant, I think, oh, wouldn't that be fun? So I think other times with my family, I think we should walk and surprise the kids, just take them on this long walk. It's not too long for them now that our youngest is doing better. What if we went on this long walk and then surprised them with Mexican food at the end? Wouldn't that be a cool memory? So when I'm thinking about intentional parenting and trying to do fun things like we used to do before we were in crisis during the pandemic, and also age appropriate in new ways. I know I've gone on a complete tangent here, but stay with me. Age appropriate in new ways because our kids are older, right? So as I come out of this fog from the last 3 years that have been so awful, I'm like, oh, hi children, you're still here. I'm sorry. Am I still parenting you? Oh, okay. I need to parent you and I still want to be intentional. Wouldn't that be a cool idea? So I'm telling you this so that I do it because it worked for meetups. I'm meeting up people everywhere. And so I'm telling you this idea for accountability. And I'm going to post a picture in the community when we do it. When I take the kids on this walk around the lake and down the path all the way to the Mexican restaurant. It will be so fun. Even if maybe I'll have the husband pick us up after dinner, we can just drive back so that it's not too much for the kids. But still, it would be super fun, right? Wouldn't that be a cool surprise? Okay, so anyway, good enough parenting, right? So that's a perfect example. Do I have money to take my kids out to eat all the time? No, we almost never get to eat out. Has it always been safe to eat out during COVID? No, it hasn't.
But right now, numbers are down. I could save money for that specific event. And can all of my kids with their disabilities be super cool and like CrossFit and 5Ks all the time? No, they can't. Our family is full of physical disabilities. We can't. But could we go on a nice, beautiful, slow, even-paced walk and then enjoy a fun meal with protein and vegetables? Yes, we could. That would be super fun, right? So good enough parenting. So I'm just telling you because this was a game changer. So this week we're going to be thinking about our dial. What is safe enough? What is safe? Not just what is safe and what is not safe. What is now time or what is memory time? But what is safe enough? Acknowledging both the good and the bad. Not just what's good and ignoring all those alarm bells from the amygdala or protector parts. And not just looking only at what is bad and ignoring how we can mitigate those issues, but doing that dial in the middle. What is safe enough? What is comfortable enough? How can we make something more safe? What do we need to pay attention to that's not? These kinds of things just more gently and more holistically as like a whole group of us intuitively in the body. What are we paying attention to notice
Oh my
what's not
gosh,
safe and what
Chubulus,
is
thank you
safe
for the
so that we
raid.
do know what is
Welcome.
safe enough.
Just doing a little coloring stream.
So that's
I'm
your
coloring a
assignment
sketch we
too
made of
for the
Xiaolin Showdown
community in the
characters.
System Speak fans group. What is safe?
Hello.
What is not safe?
Sure.
What is
I'll do
safe
my
enough
best.
for you?
That's so cute.
I double dog dare you. Ooh, is that safe or not safe? Or is it safe enough?
Thank you, Deadzone_3000 for 151 for following.
But I'll see you there. And
Thank you,
we'll chat
Headnet,
some
for
more.
following.
Oh my goodness.
Hello.
But for now, what I'm writing on my hand this week.
Thank you, Uni_Optic, for following.
Safe enough time.
Sorry, let me pause the stream. Yeah, welcome, raiders and followers. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you, UniOptic, for following. I know Ghostface already thanks you, but I feel like I need to thank you too. I was listening to a podcast called System Speak, which is a podcast our therapist recommended about DID. It was almost over, and then I was actually going to switch over to chill music while I finished the sketchy.
Booyah.
Was that it? That's so funny.
Thank you for listening. Your support really helps us feel less alone while we sort through all of this and learn together. Maybe it will help you in some ways too. You can connect with us on Patreon and join us in our new online community by going to our website at www.systemspeak.org. If there's anything we've learned, it's that connection brings healing. We look forward to connecting with you.
Let me play some music. Why am I stuck on anger? Okay. Let me use a lighter color so that can actually see this light against Jack's black clothes. How is everyone doing? Oh man. Drawing so many characters all scrunched together is fun because you get to draw a bunch of characters all huddled together and it's cute, but it can be a little tricky to figure out what's what. Especially when you do it lineless, you gotta kind of do it by like drawing, coloring whatever on the bottom first. I think I got it. We're almost there. Thank you. Why is it saying his skin is yellow? Let me make it. I might make it slightly gray. That sure might be a little. It's so hard to find good references for cartoons sometimes. Like older cartoons. It's not even that old of a cartoon, but old enough where there's like no high quality references. Oh yeah, he's got these things too. Color Ramundos and first. It's nice coloring with Flash today because I've been coloring so much in Photoshop to make a lot of live 2D models. And there's some things that I kind of miss being able to do. Like how easy it is to use the paint bucket. Paint bucket's terrible in Photoshop. Oh, yeah, gotta color Jackie. I think actually this lane should be black. Whoop. Ah. I'm so happy it's so close to being done. Maybe I can just make a quickie one. I'd like to see a lot of backgrounds, but I'm thinking of the specific, you know.
Case, I guess you just hear the ocean.
Sorry, I forgot to mute it. And this hang on. Trying to think of an episode where they I guess this works. Let me just do a quickie background. Let me delete all the ref images. And make sure nothing is colored. It should be.
Are ye?
Thank you, Stitch. Are ye? See, I was thinking of them sitting on like this ledge outside. I'm so excited to do more Pinktuber, not Pinktuber, Live 2D pets, TTS pets. I might do a cozy Discord stream if we get back from DoorDash. If we get, it sounds like we might die. If we get back early enough before bed. 'Cause on Thursday we like to go later into the night where I'm so excited for Chalky's tedious creature. Okay, yeah, maybe I could do a gradient for this. Oh, you could just fill it in. I don't have to draw a line across. I'm thinking of Photoshop. Wait, why can't I color this? Oh, maybe there's a gap also do it this way. I was thinking top to bottom, but I could do... Can I? There's mountains. Oops. There's trees. Bushes, whatever it is. I accidentally closed without saving, but I'm sure I saved. I just didn't export it. Yeah. For a second, I was like, why did I do that? But it would ask you, like, are you sure you don't want to save if I... Now I exported it, so I definitely save. There we go. I'm up a little high. My turn to face you. Thank you for coming to my coloring stream. That was so fun. I might do coloring streams a little less often because of having the cozy cove thingy in the Discord. That's so fun to use. But I might stream still sometimes on Twitch. Like I really like streaming whenever we color new headmates because those are always fun to look back on. Always fun to stream the Xiaolin Showdown because of how more complicated that was to motivate me to get it all done. I'm happy I finished it a good time. That came out a lot better than I thought it would. Not that I thought it would come out bad, but it is kind of hard to draw characters all squished together sometimes. I'm gonna raid Days Stargazer in a second. I'll go over our schedule. Oh, my next stream is gonna be this Wednesday. I'm gonna play Grimace's birthday. There's a Twitch category for Grimace's birthday. I think that's really funny. And I'm gonna do the McDonald's, the last 3 episodes of the cartoon that day. And then the following week, I think I'm gonna stream Slow Down Bull, which is a cute game about a bull who likes drawing and also has anxiety. Our next thing is tomorrow night at 11 p.m. EST on Discord. Meadow and Q are hosting Darling in the Franxx watch party. And then Sunday at 2 p.m. Meadow's playing more Pokemon Violet. I'm gonna read Day Stargazer now. Love how I'm assuming you met Justin. Justin is shorter than you, but way thicker. He's a ball of a guy. I love him so much. And hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care of yourself. We love you.
Like, no, please, don't touch me. And then, wow.
Sleepy. I stayed up all night tinkering with this potion.